Blunt Talk with LT, episode 31. This episode is brought to you by StackGwop.com. StackGwop.com/podcast to download every episode of Blunt Talk with LT. StackGwop.com/shop to shop for your SGE apparel. Okay, so we're going to get into it. The first thing, actually, not the first thing. The only thing we're talking about in this episode is basketball. 100% basketball talk. If you don't want to hear about sports, this is your time to click episode 30. We got Bergs on. Or, watch the other episodes. You know what I mean? But this is a basketball episode. 100% ball. And basically, I'm starting to notice something. I'm really starting to notice something. With this whole Lakers, LeBron thing, and the whole focus are the Lakers going to make the playoffs and all this bullshit, it's thrown us off of what's really going on right now in Toronto. The one thing that's going on right now, this, out of every year in my lifetime, I may have said this in past years because the Raptors have been really good, but this is the year we're going for it. This is the year of all years. If the Raptors are ever going to win a championship, it's going to be this year. We have Kawhi Leonard. We don't know if he's coming back next season. He could be gone. He bought a house in LA. We don't know if he's going to be a Clipper. We don't know if he's going to be a Laker. We don't know if he's going to stay here. I was mad at the Marc Gasol trade initially. I'm like, why get rid of JV? He's younger. Marc Gasol's in his 30s. He's only getting older. Once again, missing the bigger picture. I look at their team now. Depth, OG, Anunoby, developing. Pascal Siakam, developing. Pascal Siakam is he's one of the biggest surprises to me. He's a really good player. Length, speed, defense. He put up 30 a game with Kawhi. Kawhi would drop 35. He put up 33. It's ridiculous. Kyle Lowry, all-star point guard. Can't forget about Kyle Lowry. Serge Ibaka. The Raptors are the best team in the East. The Raptors are one of the most experienced teams in the East. Kawhi Leonard is a bona fide star. I think I fucked up on Kawhi Leonard. I think I'm sleeping. When I watch the way he closes out games, his willingness to shoot the perimeter shot, his willingness to get to the free throw line and make his free throws, his willingness to defend and dive for loose balls. Who cares if you rest him? This is what you call load management, because when it comes to the playoffs, we have experienced Kawhi Leonard on our team. You have Boston, who's reeling, can't get it together. Kyrie complaining about the spotlight, not liking what the media has been doing to him and his team and to his career. The spotlight on him in a negative fashion, it's affecting him and the team. They lost a bunch of games with Kyrie. They keep putting up stats on ESPN, FS1, or wherever you get your sports. They keep putting up stats. Better without Kyrie. Points per game with Kyrie. Points per game without Kyrie. Net deficiency, or net offensive efficiency, net, defense efficiency. Showing all those stats all the time in favor of without Kyrie. Celtics are reeling. Philly has a bunch of pieces that we don't know how they fit together, really. I'm looking at Philly like Philly might be one of the best teams, but they just haven't really fit all the pieces together yet. So once they get it together, they could be dangerous, but the Ben Simmons shooting problem is always going to be a problem in the playoffs. And I trust Kawhi Leonard more than I trust Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and these guys. Jimmy Butler hasn't really found his groove. He hasn't found himself on the team yet. Jimmy Butler hasn't been Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler kind of went and disappeared. He didn't make the All-Star team. His stats were down ridiculously. You don't see any highlights from earlier the season when he first got there and he was hitting game winners. Jimmy Butler hasn't been Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's kind of just there's certain players you can see right now. Certain players are just waiting for the offseason. They're like, fuck this. Let me get out this contract. Let me get to another team. Let me get to a new situation. Certain players don't give a fuck about what's going on right now. They're like, Playoffs, let's play hard, and then let's find myself into another contract and another situation, another team. Jimmy Butler could very well be one of those guys. When you go down the East, Indiana is a good team, good coach, balanced team. No star with Victor Oladipo out, still holding it down. But let's be real, who's really taking them serious in the playoffs? Because I'm not. They're still a good team. They're still balanced. But in the playoffs, Indiana, who you beating? You win your first round. You win your first round because 6 through 8 is trash. That's the thing about the East. People want to talk about the East is stronger this year. It's 5 seeds. It's 5 teams. All the other teams are still trash. It's still kind of the top-heavy East it's been in the recent years because the East has been very top-heavy. The Lakers would still be in playoff contention if they're in the East. They'd be like an 8th seed right now. As trash as they've been playing and as horrible as their record is, and 4 games below 500, they'll be battling for 8th, 9th seed right now in the East. Still well alive, although their playoff hopes are well done, and they were done from time. We were just clinging on to it because we know what LeBron could do. But really and truly, they were gone. They weren't even contending for a while now. They were far out. 4.5 games back is a big gap. When a team is like a couple days ago, a team was sitting 35 and 29. Lakers were sitting at 31 and 33, or 30 and whatever the fuck they were, 2 games below 500, and people are taking them serious like they can catch up. I'm like, that's not how it works in the last 20 games of the season. It's not going to be that easy. You can't take a team that's very discombobulated, very everywhere, injuries all over the team, put them together, and think they're just going to compete in the last 20 games. Whether you have LeBron or not, this isn't Cleveland. This isn't what happened last year. This wasn't a bunch of champions on a squad with LeBron and a system that's been well-developed and worked for years. It's not the same thing. Although they wanted to say Cleveland got all these new guys last year and LeBron made it work, they still had a core. They still had a core of Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, LeBron James, Kevin Love. The guys that won the rings were still there. They still had their shooting. Still had Kyle Korver. You know what I mean? It was a different type of team. They have no shooting in LA. Okay, let me not talk about LA yet. Let's stick to the East. Let me stay on topic before I get to the West. Up and down the East, you have Milwaukee and you have Toronto. We have wild cards like Boston and Philly, but they're wild cards. We don't know what the fuck they're going to do in the playoffs. We have 2 teams that are legit. That's Milwaukee and Toronto. We have Boston and Philly are legit if they can get it together because they have all the talent, but they haven't shown that they're going into the playoffs as a well-oiled machine. So I will not be surprised if they get knocked off early rounds. The Raptors and the Bucks. The Bucks are unproven. They haven't won anything in the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff series. Giannis, to my knowledge, has not won a single playoff series, and that's what's keeping him from being the best player alive. But I'll get to that later. No playoff victories or no playoff experience getting deep into the playoffs. So am I going to trust that, or am I going to trust a champion in Kawhi Leonard? Yeah, the Raptors, didn't make it to the finals ever. But it's like he was a Spur winning championships, making it to the championship, getting the experience. He was up against Golden State first game before he got injured, beating them by 20. Kawhi Leonard holding it down, playing on both ends of on the floor. So Kawhi Leonard he's proven. He shut down James Harden in the series prior to that series and sent the Rockets home packing last time he was in the playoffs. So Kawhi Leonard is the real deal in the playoffs. He showed he's a champion. He played great defense on that year he won on LeBron, and his offense was underrated because of the points per game. But it's like when you have Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and a bunch of role players, they're gonna, it's gonna be a balanced attack. So it's not gonna stand out how much you've done because the points per game is not showing, but your impact was phenomenal. Kawhi Leonard is definitely the best player in the East. As good as Giannis is, he's not he's probably, you can look at him and say he's having a better season, he's putting up better stats. He could be better this season, but body of work, retire them right now. Kawhi Leonard's a better player. So just like LeBron's the best player in the league, it's really just off of legacy and everything that he's done. And where he's still at, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. But objectively speaking, we don't know if he's actually the best player in the league right now. He doesn't play enough defense. When you have mans like Paul George, you have mans like Kawhi Leonard, you have mans like Giannis that are doing it on both ends of the floor, playing, good defense, not missing any rotation, not getting pushed by Kyle Kuzma into a defender for you to play D. None of that shit. LeBron is the GOAT of this generation, but may not be the best player anymore in the world. Who knows? It's narrowing down now. But the problem is we don't have a crown. We don't have a crown. Kevin Durant may want that best player in the world crown. A couple years ago, we were fooled into thinking Steph Curry could possibly take that from LeBron until LeBron, came back in that series and took them out. Because the thing is, it's really hard to give Kevin Durant the best player in the world title. Yeah, you won 2 finals in a row, 2 finals MVP, but you jumped on a well-oiled machine. You came to a 73-win team with Steph Curry, who beat you the year before, and you came to his team. You won. The thing is, Steph Curry got robbed last year. Last year, the finals MVP was Steph Curry. He got robbed the first year when Iguodala won it. Should have been Steph Curry. He should have been a 2-time finals MVP. Or at least one, even if Kevin Durant won last year and got his both, because Kevin Durant did play good last year. You could give Kevin Durant that either. It was a toss-up, really and truly. But give Curry the first one. It's like, how are you? You cannot compete for the best player in the world if you're not the best player on your team. And that's where he's kind of stuck. It's kind of like, are you better than Steph Curry? If you leave the Golden State Warriors to go wherever you go, is your team going to go farther than Steph Curry? Well, can your team beat Steph Curry's team? So it's kind of just like, yeah, you're on the team, you're putting up better stats or more numbers when it comes to the finals or the Western Conference Finals or just the playoffs in general. Kevin Durant's a better player. Well, he's been a better player on the team in the playoffs so far. So you get that nod, but that's not enough. Head-to-head combat, you've lost. That's where it kind of goes to, okay, if LeBron is no longer the best player in the world, can you give it to Kevin Durant? He's competing with Steph. But Steph is not a two-way player. He's not a defensive stopper. Kevin Durant's a much better defensive player. But it's not just about individual aspects. It's about the sum of all parts and what it actually converts to when it comes to winning and being valuable player. James Harden could be up there. James Harden has stepped up his defense. He's unstoppable scorer. You can't stop this guy. You're going to get called for a foul every fucking time, and he's going to hit 18 of 18 free throws and run up the score. He's averaging, 36, almost 37 points per game. That shit is ridiculous. So James Harden is in that discussion because he's dragging his team. Although his team has shooters and is a well-equipped team around him, continuity and everything, something that LeBron doesn't have in his team, and no shooters. He has support, but yeah, he's putting up all. It's not just about his support. He'll put up 40 fucking shots a game to make sure his team wins. Some think that LeBron is too scared of ruining his shooting percentage, so he doesn't want to shoot that much. But LeBron's not a volume scorer. There's a difference. Like Kobe was a volume scorer. Jordan was a volume scorer. Harden is a volume scorer. Kevin Durant was on his way to be a volume scorer. But since he joined Golden State, it kind of destroyed his trajectory of being like a real. He's a scorer, but a real volume scorer. Like we haven't seen Kevin Durant put up 50, 50, 50 in a game, like how James Harden is doing this season. I don't even think Kevin Durant's ever scored 60 points in a game. So can't consider him a volume scorer like James Harden, Kobe, or Michael Jordan. James Harden is in the running for the best player in the world right now. He's top 5. So he's in the running too. Anthony Davis, nope. If you're going to strip LeBron of the title for not making the playoffs when he missed 18 games and Lonzo missed 17 games in a row now, and he missed games earlier in the season. Rondo's missed 34 games. The whole team's been a mess. LeBron's been injured. He's not going to make the playoffs, so he gets stripped of the best title, the best in the world. Cool, whatever. But you can't give it to Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis doesn't make the playoffs either. He's not making the playoffs. He had no real playoff success. So Anthony Davis is not in the discussion. As talented as Anthony Davis is, he's not the winner. He's not the champion that LeBron James is, Kevin Durant is, Kawhi Leonard is, Steph Curry is. James Harden had Golden State dead to rights last year. He had their ass 3-2, had them up. Then they flubbed. They flubbed the whole series. They shit the bed. They couldn't convert. They couldn't hit a three to save their goddamn life. So they fumbled the rock. They messed up. But James Harden had them. That same team that swept LeBron in the finals. Well, LeBron had them too, but J.R. Smith gave away the game, and that ruined the whole thing. See, LeBron fights with, like, if LeBron, the thing is, they could have done better in that series. That game one wasn't the end all be all. Like, who cares if they lost that? They could have bounced back, but they were so deflated from that loss. It was just like whatever. But yeah, let's get back to the point. James Harden's in that discussion. So really and truly, it's like we kind of get KD in the discussion, kind of have James Harden in there. Steph Curry can't really be there because of the defense. Kawhi Leonard, and this is where it gets funny. The Raptors make the finals now. Okay, hold on. I didn't get to Giannis. Giannis, no playoff experience, no playoff success. He can't shoot a perimeter shot. You can't be considered the best in the world. They were having a debate on First Take who was better, Giannis or KD. As great as Giannis is, as dominant as Giannis is, as great, he can do things that KD can't do. He's a better rebounder. He's a better passer. Doesn't matter. KD can shoot. Giannis can't shoot. When the game gets close and you can't drive to the basket and you can't do all the dominant shit you could do and you need to pull up for a jump shot, you can trust Kevin Durant. You can't trust Giannis. Kevin Durant's better than Giannis. Sorry. I had to go back and forth with that. At one point, I was kind of team Giannis, but realistically, you need that jump shot. KD can pull up from 35 over anybody. He's 7 feet tall. So, you got KD. So, it's really between the heir apparent. This is funny, the heir apparent ceremony coming from the biggest LeBron fan in the world trying to give away his title. But it's going to go to Kawhi, and this is why it's going to go to Kawhi. Kawhi is going to be known as the best player in the world, and this is why I think this is the Raptors' year. The Raptors make it to the finals. Okay, say the Raptors make it to the finals. Kawhi doesn't even have to fucking win. He doesn't even have to win. You take that Raptors team, you take Golden State to 6 games. You take them to 6 games. Just take them to 6 games. That's it. In the finals. After you clean out the East. As people try to say the East is stronger this year. You clean out the East. You take Golden State 6 games. You're going to get the crown. The media is going to give it to you. They have to give it to you at that point. You took them to 6 games. You don't even have to take them 7 games. And if he wins, if he beats Golden State, it's unanimous. You're a two-way defender. Look at your stats. You can hit from shots from the perimeter. You led a team in your first year to the finals, and then you beat Golden State, the team that's loaded, the team that supposedly has 5 All-Stars. Draymond's not an All-Star. 4 All-Stars. Not even 3 All-Stars. Boogie, in his current condition, is not an All-Star. Boogie's not the same guy pre-injury as post-injury. They want to say, yeah, he works good, he fits good. He's not the same Boogie. But whatever. 3 All-Stars currently. But pretty much 4. You can give Boogie, whatever. It's 4 All-Stars. He takes out that team with what? Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's also an All-Star. Marc Gasol's a former All-Star, but he's coming off the bench, so you can't even count him as that type of All-Star support. Kawhi Leonard will definitely get the crown as the best player in the world if that happens. If that happens. And to be real, I'm predicting that this is the year. I'm predicting right now that this is the Raptors' year. The Raptors' year. Well, I'm predicting right now it's the Raptors' year to make the finals. I'm not saying that they're going to win it all because I'm not going to make such a bold prediction like that. I'll be out of my fucking mind. But I predict that the Raptors could make the finals this year. Or will make the finals. Not could make the finals. Will make the finals this year. And the fact that LeBron isn't contending for a playoff spot, LeBron's not contending for a championship, and I am a LeBron fan, I get to just completely release all of that shit and be alleviated of the stress of the LeBron journey and be a hometown fucking fan, cheer for the Raptors. Raptors all the way from here on out because you might as well. It's not a bandwagon when you're riding for your city's team at the end of the day, so let's go Raptors. Let's go Kawhi, yo. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Kawhi's gonna win. Well, I can't say he's gonna win. He's gonna win the East. Raptors gonna win the East. We got it. Let's go back to Golden State. I don't think Golden State is nearly as tough as people might want to put them on this pedestal or suggest they are. Well, of course they're great. They're Golden State. They have Steph Curry. They have Klay Thompson. They have Kevin Durant. But they don't have depth. Iggy's still Iggy a little bit. He's still hanging on to being Iggy. Draymond Green's falling all the way off. DeMarcus Cousins is a problem on defense sometimes, and if you can abuse Steph Curry and DeMarcus Cousins, that becomes 2 points of abusing on your defense, which can be bad in the playoffs. I don't know what's going to happen when they get into tight situations. I don't know about this Warriors team. I think this might be the last year of the Warriors being the Warriors because KD might dip to go to New York or wherever he wants to go. This is tricky. If there's a year to take out the Warriors, this might be the year. As much as people want to say this is the strongest version of the Warriors, I don't see Boogie as full health, and I see Draymond taking a step back. So, and then the depth taking a step back too. So really and truly, might be a good time to pounce. And this might be Kawhi's only year as a Raptor. Marc Gasol's only year left of being like an actual pretty good, almost all-star caliber big. Kyle Lowry's almost done pretty much too. He's in his 30s too. He's getting up there too. In a couple of years, Kyle Lowry won't be the same Kyle Lowry. They have a young core and their depth is all young talent, which is great, but their main stars are getting up there. This might be the time to strike. I think the Raptors are making the push. I think they see it too. I think they see the writings on the wall. They're kind of low-key. They're not eating up all the media coverage. Their team's not getting fucked over the way Boston's is and getting discombobulated, getting all fucked up and players wanting to leave and people and Kyrie getting sensitive with the media because the media's going too far with him. And, Gordon Hayward's getting roasted by Stephen A every day. And, they don't have to deal with that dysfunction. They don't have to deal with Ben Simmons getting roasted over, no jump shot. There's no dysfunctionality with the Raptors. They just focus and they play basketball. So it's like they have the least pressure right now. They're the most proven in the East as far as I'm concerned. This may low-key be the Raptors' year. And actually, this is the first time I actually believe the Raptors will make the finals. As good as their teams were in the past, they weren't getting past LeBron. As soon as LeBron left, I'm like, finally, the Raptors can make the finals. And if the Raptors made the finals while LeBron was in the East, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy it. It would have been bittersweet because it's like, yeah, the Raptors in the finals, but they took out LeBron. I would have been cheesed. So whatever, man. Good year to be a Raptor. I think the Raptors got it. This is Blunt Talk with LT, episode 31. StackWap.com. Yerp.